There is only one word to describe this dam: ginormous. Well, that's technically not a word, but you get the point. The Nile represents life to the 280 million residents who dwell along its banks in 11 different nations. A new dam promises Ethiopia the much-needed electricity it needs, but Egypt fears a catastrophic water shortage. In this video, we'll be taking a look at this new megadam set to block even the Nile River. So if you want more of these types of videos, don't hesitate to like and subscribe to our channel. A significant disagreement between Egypt and Ethiopia over access to the Nile's essential water resources has been sparked by this megadam. What will each nation receive, and who will manage the flow? Let's take a deeper look. The Nile Delta is this green triangle in northern Egypt. The deposit of silt brought downstream along the Nile River in antiquity created the luxurious area. The delta, which spans the Egyptian coastline from Port Said in the east to Alexandria in the west, is 161 kilometers long from north to south. More than 40 million people live there, making it one of the largest and biggest deltas on the planet. From this bountiful region, around half of Egypt's agricultural output is produced. Scientists have cautioned that Egypt's largest food supply is under danger. More than 750 kilometers to the south in Egypt, the Aswan High Dam was opened in 1971. At the time, this megadam produced around half of Egypt's electricity, but it also sparked the ecosystem of the delta's slow deterioration. The natural cycle of floods that distributes organically rich silt on riverbanks, enhancing the available agricultural land and promoting the rhythms of the local ecosystem, is disrupted by dams, particularly those with huge reservoirs. As the Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is being built, scientists are now warning that further alterations to the Nile's environment could result in permanent harm to the area. The amount of water that flows downstream into Egypt directly depends on how long it takes to fill the dam. The flow is lesser the shorter the period of time. Egypt's water deficit is anticipated to rise by 3 billion cubic meters annually, or about 5% of the country's yearly share of the river, if Ethiopia fills the Renaissance Dam over the period of 21 years. That is less than 2.5% of Egypt's agricultural land, which will be lost as a result of filling some of this deficiency with groundwater. Egypt's water deficit is anticipated to rise by 8 billion cubic meters annually, or about 14% of the country's yearly share of the river, if Ethiopia chooses to fill the Renaissance Dam over the course of 10 years. Approximately 18% of Egypt's agricultural fields, or close to 2 million acres, could be lost. See the pattern here? So what if the dam is filled in 3 years? Well, you guessed it. Egypt would suffer the most if the Renaissance Dam were to be filled over a 3-year period. Up to 27 billion cubic meters per year, or roughly half of its water allocation, might be lost. The potential loss of 6.75 million acres of land, or nearly 67% of Egypt's agricultural land, is alarming. The Ruviranza River in Burundi is the Nile's first tributary, and the Nile travels over 6,695 kilometers from south to north before emptying into the Mediterranean Sea. Including Burundi, Rwanda, Tanzania, Kenya, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, Ethiopia, Eritrea, South Sudan, Sudan, and Egypt, the Nile Basin is a network of interconnected ecosystems that stretches across 11 nations. The White Nile and the Blue Nile are the two principal tributaries that make up the river. In Khartoum, the capital of Sudan, these rivers converge. The Atbara River then joins the United River from there until it reaches Egypt in the north. In April 2011, Ethiopia started constructing the Renaissance Dam. Within 30 kilometers of the Sudanese border is the Benishangul-Jumuz region, the Twin Reservoir Dam. Once finished, the main dam would cover an area of 1,780 square kilometers and have a wall height of 155 meters. It will be able to hold 15 billion cubic meters of water, and the second auxiliary dam is a reservoir made of concrete and granite that is 4,800 meters long and 55 meters tall. It will help redirect any extra water from the primary reservoir back along the route of the Nile and store about 60 billion cubic meters of water. The dam can hold a total volume of around 75 billion cubic meters. The Renaissance Dam will help the nation of East Africa fulfill its expanding energy and developmental needs. The Ethiopian government intends to develop a fresh business network in the neighborhood, which it claims will result in job opportunities. Ethiopia will become Africa's top electricity exporter once the dam is finished. So, what does Egypt want? It's simple. Egypt wants to protect its portion of the Nile, which is 55.5 billion cubic meters. Egypt requests that Ethiopia only fill the dam during the rainy season and over a period of 10 to 21 years. To ensure sufficient water flow when water levels are low, Cairo has also demanded that Addis Ababa increase the number of water release joints in the dam by 2. Although Egypt has a few options, the majority of them will result in significant expenses for the country's food, water, and energy production. The Nile provides more than just water. It is an incredibly delicate ecosystem that contributes to the biological and environmental harmony of East Africa. There are more than 800 different fish species in the Nile. The diversity of birds, insects, and microbes is related to the diversity of fish stocks. Any of these components that are missing will cause the ecosystem as a whole to collapse. The people and the wildlife who rely on the river are affected by any changes to the quantity and quality of the water flowing through it, and this could result in widespread extinction. Because we all know, there are dozens of sources of energy, but there is only one Nile. Care to share your inputs on this new dam? Feel free to drop a comment below, we're all ears. For more videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you later!